Hey, welcome to the Trivium Talk podcast, where we talk about things inside and outside of the gym. And Matt's going to hit us with some quick hits before we get into our topic today.
Yeah, hey guys, we got a lot of things going on at the gym this month. Starting out, we do have a skills seminar with Coach Tyler. That's going to be on the 21st. He's going to cover the bar muscle up and the handstand push-ups, something that we're going to see in the open, I'm sure. So we're going to spend some time through that. We also have a nutrition seminar that is going to be a call with Coach Maddie. That's going to be also on Saturday. It's at 9:30. You can just plug into the Zoom link. It's probably going to be in an email or it's going to be in your announcements on Push Press. And then we also have skate night, right?
Yeah.
So that's also on the 21st, I think.
21st, we're actually doing the afternoon from 2 to 5. We're going to go down to the skate center. You guys know where it is. It's 800 meters that way because that's where you turn around when you round it.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome. Family day. We're just going to go out and have a good time. We'll send some details out. You get an email about it, but skate day is going to be a blast.
Yeah, so we got a packed Saturday on that one on the 21st, right? So we can start with just a good workout. Then you can go hop onto the Zoom call. Then you can go hit your skills and drills with Coach Tyler. And then you can finish up with a nice little fun time at the skate center, or a nice little community event. Thank you to Melissa for putting that on as well.
Awesome. So I'm excited about it. It's going to be super fun. The old skate center hasn't changed a bit in 20 years. Straight out of the 80s. Let's go.
And then the week after that starts the Open. So that's going to be on the 28th. And yeah, so with that, let's get rolling.
Yeah, awesome. So today we're going to talk about the CrossFit certification, the level 2 specifically. You, last weekend, was it? Last weekend, you recertified with your level 2. And so we want to kind of talk a little bit about that experience, what it is,
sure,
that kind of stuff. Take us away.
Yeah, so your level 2 obviously is the next stage up. To coach in CrossFit, you have to have your level 1. This is really going to teach you kind of the 9 foundational movements, a little bit about nutrition. It's a 2-day course. You kind of go through all things CrossFit. You learn a little bit about programming. You take a test, get your cert, and then you go find a job and start coaching. Beyond that, the level 2 is a little bit more of classroom management, how to work to be a better coach, not just knowing your stuff, but knowing how to work with other people. This is my 3rd time to get my level 2. The first time was back in 2016. This is where I did a 2-day in person. That was great. It was out in California. It was one of those things for me where we're moving to a new state altogether. I was like, I've got to find a way to separate myself a little bit more than just saying, hey, I'm an L1.
Yeah.
So if I get my L2, I can slap that on my resume, I can find a job, and it'll be a lot easier to get into coaching that way. So it's a little bit more of, hey, I'm invested in this, not just I wanted to get a course in. Because I think a lot of people will just get a level 1 just for the knowledge and have no want to coach at all. I think level 2 is a little bit more serious, and then you're like, hey, I want to treat this more as a job and not just a fun hobby. 5 years later, so that's going to be COVID year, it was time to renew. Everything was shut down, so CrossFit had a cool way of just doing more of an online version of it. We have broomsticks in our kitchen, and we are learning how to move again. And then that leads up to this one. So 2026, it's time to renew again. And they had this newer version again. So a new entity where we have the hybrid version where you do modules leading up to it. It's only 1 day in person. You do your on-site coaching, and then you go take your test after. A lot more convenient when you are managing a gym or you're working with a lot of people, and trying to dedicate a full weekend away can be pretty time consuming. But this was kind of nice. And I really did appreciate the convenience of that.
Yeah. So a level 2, I guess for those of you that don't know, there's certifications that to be a CrossFit gym, right? So I own CrossFit Trivium, and we have 2 locations, and CrossFit as a whole has requirements for us as a gym. In order to keep that name on the door, we have to meet certain minimum requirements for certifications. And at a minimum, 1 level 2 at each location, registered, completed, passed, and then we have to track that with CrossFit HQ is the minimum requirement.
Right.
Now, we're fortunate. I think we have a couple of people that
we have a lot of coaches that are
a good bit of our coaches have a level 2, and that's great. But Matt, being the general manager and the head coach, he's our registered level 2.
Mm-hmm.
I had a level 2. It's lapsed. I do need to retake that. I haven't retaken it in quite a while. So at some point I will do that. But just so everybody knows, there's a couple of reasons to do it. One is just the minimum requirement, right? And then the other one is really the coaching standard that we want to maintain here at CrossFit Trivium, right? We're not just looking for someone who's just going to manage a class, run a clock, read a board, and then just say, all right, everybody go, beep, hit the button.
Right.
There's a level at which we want that to elevate. We do that in a couple of ways. Obviously, the CrossFit certifications helps with that. And then, we have our coach training program ongoing, all the things that you put together and work with our coaches on, the feedback and all of that. So talk a little bit about that. It's, the coaching standard and how the level 2 plays into that.
Sure. So just kind of going through my experience this time around, the modules were a huge refresher. So they kind of cover these things, kind of your hierarchy of how to coach. And starting out is just being able to teach. And so being able to transfer your knowledge to the person in front of you. So we talk about, tell, show, do, and check. So you want to tell someone, hey, this is what I'm seeing. And then you want to show them what you want them, and then being able to show them or allowing them to do it, and then going back to check. And so you kind of start to do that in your head, then it becomes more natural. And that's just kind of the way. So you go teaching and then seeing and then correcting. Each one has its own little standard of what you want to look for. Seeing is, can you observe someone moving well or unwell? Can you notice when someone has an early arm bend or isn't getting full extension? Some coaches don't have an eye for that, and they're not looking from a micro stance. And that module kind of will help you identify more and how to help yourself see. So for example, instead of just having everyone, all right, everyone, squat, you could say, hey, everyone, I want you to start your squat. And when you're at the bottom, I want you to pause. That gives you a chance to see how everyone's mechanics looking.
Yeah.
Then, hey, we're going to do a 2 count on the way up. So that allows you to see what's going on a little bit more instead of just saying, all right, everyone do 3 squats. And it looks good. Okay, cool. It's like, how do we refine? How do we make that better?
So it takes it kind of from a macro to a micro level.
Exactly.
Right? You've got that high level where everybody can view, all right, hey, everybody's below parallel. This is great. Stand back up and we're good. To hey, I want you to pause so I can see the nuance of what you're doing. I can make small corrections that are going to make a big payoff later on.
And so when we're able to slow you down, like, oh, Nate, I did notice when we're at the bottom, your chest is caving at the bottom of the squat. Okay. Now I was able to see what you did. I told you what I saw, and now I'm going to test my ability to correct you on that. So that third stage is being able to correct. And this can be a whole different types of ways, right? From a teaching aspect, we're looking at it as verbal cues, visual cues, tactile cues. And then how short and specific can we be? I can run through, getting very long-winded. Okay, your chest is caving at the floors because you don't have the neutral spine. You're up on your toes. It's like, okay, cool. Nate's not going to remember anything that I just told him. Hey, it could just be as simple as get your weight back on your heels.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that fixed it, and then cool, we're going on. If it's more,
you can recognize all the more nuanced things, but then how do you communicate that to the athlete in something they can understand and then put into action that corrects the problem, rather than speaking a language where they look at you, go cross-eyed, and like, you're right.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to not only understand it, they're not going to be able to execute on it.
Right. Well, I love the fun part about me, or the fun part about the correcting side of it, the part that I love the most is being able to triage. Because now you're kind of in the ER, and like, again, we'll just use you, Nate, and let's just say we call it a train wreck squat. He's like up on his toes, his chin's down, he's rounded. And it's like, there's a lot of things to fix. What's the most important?
Yeah.
And this is where I deviate a lot from, not a lot, but what I would say deviate from maybe standard. There's a balance between what's the lowest hanging fruit and then what's the most important. Because sometimes if we're doing load that's super light, which is just an air squat, I may want to have the low hanging fruit first because I want Nate to have a win. If it's the thing, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get him the best position right now just because I know where his hamstrings are, or I know he's got a shoulder issue that doesn't allow. It's like, okay, let's just work on, again, get back on the heels. Hey, great job. I just want you to be able to wiggle your toes. Awesome job. All right. And then I can start working through the harder things that may be for him, but at least he's not going to be discouraged, because if I go with the first thing and he's like, dude, there's no way, then he just lost. You can triage. It's still a safety first, but if the level of safety is still pretty high, I'm going to go ahead and take the low-hanging fruit. I'm going to build wins and build momentum, just like we've talked about.
Yeah, I like the triage thing, right? Because, again, using the squat. So if we're looking at someone squatting and I see 3 or 4 things wrong, I could walk up to them and blow their day up with 4 things they need to do. What I like to do is give them one quick, easy win, like you just said, and then I kind of just walk away and let them do their thing. And I'll make the rounds for the rest of class and give a couple things. And when I come back, I know they've squatted. Say, hey, how'd that feel? Did you notice the difference? Let me see one real quick. And if they got the win and they were super, super like confident about, oh yeah, that was perfect, that was great, then I'll give them one more. Right? Because that first one didn't throw them. I might now say, hey, just one other thing I really want you to think about. Do this. Right? And then if they kick that one, maybe at most one more in that session, and then you're kind of off.
Sure. Yeah.
That for me is one of the most fun parts of coaching, and letting my like personality or style of coaching or way kind of build into that, right? So executing on what needs to happen from that triage side, but taking the personality side of every coach, because every coach has their own personality within class, and how do you use that to kind of coach in?
Yeah, I agree. I think I would get into a habit of maybe over coaching in a sense of, or one of the biggest things I had to learn how to do is be okay with that small win, and then that's it for today.
Yeah.
I think newer coaches, especially just off of their certification, they're so gung ho and we're going to fix everything right now. And you have to tell yourself that if you're a great coach, they are going to come back. And so you don't have to fix everything today. Let's make sure that they are safe and they're getting a good workout, but give them the win, log in your head what they need to work on next. So when it comes back around, you can rehearse what you've worked on and now give them the new thing. And you give them those small wins that, over 6 weeks you can build, or 6 years that you can build on these things, instead of trying to overload them and fix them all at once, because some athletes are going to think that, well, shoot, I just can't do anything right. So maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I just need to go back and do something else because coach just told me that I did 9 things wrong today. And it's like, there may be 9 things wrong, but let's assess what's most important, what's the low hanging fruit, and then high five that and bring them back the next time.
So what about, we cap our classes at 15. There's times where there's 20. There's times where there's 3. We've talked about the actual coaching side of it. How about like managing a class?
Sure.
And awareness of a room when there's 15 people in with a bar over their head, and a coach has got their head on the swivel trying to figure out, do they talk about that?
Sure. So
in the L2, I can't remember.
Right. So the teaching and correcting, that is a micro and macro side of it. Then you get into just the class management or the group management side.
Yeah.
And then you have presence and attitude that goes along with that. Okay. So the group management side is a lot of logistics. It's a lot of planning ahead. It is making sure that you can have a well-structured class in a highly chaotic scenario.
Gotcha.
I think that coincides with presence and attitude. This is something we talked about with our coaches. You should be able to walk into a room and within 5 seconds, you should be able to identify the coach and know that, oh, that person's in charge.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, then we're missing something there. And it's more than just having a shirt that says coach on it. It does help, but we should be able to know by the presence of it and the person that's directing the air traffic control.
Yeah.
So we've got some coaches that are great at logistics. They know from the very beginning, hey, if I have 5 people, I'm going to do it this way. If I have 15 people, I'm going to do it that way. When we onboard newer coaches that are sometimes from smaller gyms, this is something where they struggle with. They're used to having big gym, small classes where everyone has their own space, has their own equipment, and they can kind of do whatever they want.
Grab a box, grab a barbell.
And we can do all the things, right?
Yeah, and we don't have that.
We don't have that. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we do have to share. We do have to find new ways to kind of flow through a class, because it does challenge you creatively as a coach. So when even from a programming side of it, we are challenged with some movements and some movement combinations, right? A burpee box jump over with a clean and jerk and a rower is not going to happen in our gym unless we are very creative with our program style. That's the same thing when we think about actually running a class as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. That's a lot of the work that you need to do before the class even starts. I think some people just look into classes of just like, yep, this is how I'm going to do it. Like, yeah, that's great for 5. What are you going to do for 15?
Yep. So we've talked a little bit about that piece, what it is, what you get, some of the benefits for us, for the gym, that kind of stuff. From our end, we're very grateful and humbled that you would trust us with your health, wellness, and fitness. And so from our end, yes, CrossFit enforces that got to have at least one, but we want to invest in that. If you're going to trust us, we want to invest in those things, right? So there is, we've said there's an investment. It does cost some money, right? It's not a cheap course.
Sure.
Let's ask the almost uncomfortable question. Is it worth the money to go and do it? And talk about it from both you're 1 year in or 2 years in, because you've taken it 3 times and the impact that was, or what that did, versus now you're 10 years in, you've got a career with it. You're coaching some of the, the high level pros, and you're running a gym for me. You're doing all these things. I'd love to hear your perspective on the 2 things. I remember when I took it the first time, I thought it was very valuable. I was one of those like, oh, I'm going to fix everything. But I'd just be interested.
I think so. Is it worth it? I think if you're going to do this more long term, I think it is. My first time taking it, I learned I learned enough, but really it was a good confirmation that this is what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so I can do this and I can do this well, and I can do this in a foreign experience because you're going into a new gym, coaching people you've never met before and trying to do it at a high level. And you're being judged by your peers the entire time. It's like, if you can coach well under that scenario, you can coach anywhere. And so if you are experienced or non-experienced, it gives you a chance to be really, really uncomfortable. When we're at home in our own gym, members will let things slide. You know, it's like, oh, that's just Matt. He just coaches that way. And it's like, these people don't know you. You can't just get away with coaching a certain way or not. You have to really
get exposed, or things where you're just like, you do naturally in the gym. You're like, oh, I can't do that here.
And they'll force you to use every tool out of your toolbox, and they'll let you know which one's sharp and which one isn't. Like, hey, do this, but you're not allowed to use a visual cue. So you can only use your verbals. Or the other way around, you can only say 3 words, everything else has to be tactile. And it's like, I haven't thought about a sumo deadlift high pull this way. You know, it's like, okay, here we go. So I think from the challenge aspect, I think it's really good. I think if you've been doing this for 8 to 10 plus years, I don't think there's as much value there, because from the position that I'm in, there's not much from like business management that CrossFit's trying to introduce to us. There may be other certs that they have, I don't know. But from the, hey, how to run a business better, or here are the, class designs or anything like that. Here's how we market. Like, I think that would be really good for someone who's been doing this for a longer amount of time. And that's not what you're going to get from the L2.
Yeah.
But the L2 doesn't try to be that either. The L2, exactly.
And I think, I do think there's a couple of, if you look at it from CrossFit's perspective, right? They're selling a licensed, it's an affiliate program. You're basically paid to use the name, and then there's some requirements, right? They want to protect that name, and one way of protecting that name is saying, hey, we got to make sure the people that are using our name aren't crappy, right? And so to do that, here's how we're going to do it. Now, one change they did make that I thought was fantastic. They used to say the owner of the gym has to hold a level 2. I had a problem with that because the type of owner that I am, I'm not coaching every single day, right?
This isn't your full-time gig.
It's not my full-time gig. I have a very full-time job. I absolutely, CrossFit Trivium is my absolute passion, but I don't have the ability to be coaching all these classes. And so we have a great staff that does that. I have a great general manager that does that. But for me to hold the L1, and it doesn't matter what my coaches have, didn't make any sense to me. And I think they took that feedback. I know I gave that feedback. I think a lot of other gym owners did give that feedback, and they changed it to where it was like, hey, you just got to have a registered level 2 on the staff. Awesome change. I think that's a good move from like a business perspective. Not to say that there's not value in it for me, but if we look at it from like the first time I was taking it, which is I was new to CrossFit, new to ownership, new to coaching, a lot of value I could pull out of it. Plus I met the requirement.
Right.
Well, now I'm in a very different spot where we've, grown another gym. I'm really focused on other areas within the business, and you and the staff are handling those other things. It didn't make sense to me to do that. And I think that was a good move by CrossFit. So from making that change, what I thought was a good move.
Yeah, I wish, and that just kind of makes me, the wish and the hope is that at some point then you have different branches where it's like, hey, maybe after your L2, you have a choice. Like, do I want to go more coaching, incentive-based learning, so you can go take what's right now your L3 and then eventually be an L4, or hey, here's our business route as well, where once you've kind of got your L2, you understand how to function a class. Here's how you function multiple classes. This is how you hire on. This is how you onboard. And that way it's like, hey, I don't have a need to get an L3 at this time. And so I'm not pursuing an L3, where it's like, I know I can go past the L2. I'm just going to go take my L2. It costs the same either way. So I don't understand, for me, why I want to go put the effort of studying for an L3. I may pass, I may not, but if I don't pass, I have to pay again to do it again. And it's like, you're not going to give me, well, Matt, now we can open up a third gym because you have an L3. It's like, that's not it, right? And so, hey, you're hiring me to do a certain job. As long as I do that well, it doesn't really matter what my certification is. If I felt like I was lacking in a certain spot, I'm going to go seek education in that certain spot. And that's not what the L3 is. So all that to say, we do have coaches that are actively getting ready to take their L3, which I love. I want everyone to have an L3 that's on staff, because that does give me more confidence that we have a better opportunity of showing a better experience to our members. It doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to be the best coaches, but I know they're putting time. The fact that they are actively pursuing it tells me that they love what they do. So
yeah. So really, it's not that is it worth it or not. It's where are you in your career? What are your goals, and does it align with that?
right.
Right, and does it align with where you're trying to get to? So yeah, I mean, I think we were talking about it, and I kind of equated it to the like annual sales training, right? So I'm in enterprise sales, and I'm pretty good at what I do. And every year you have to go through these modules and things like that. And you got to do all these different things. I have two choices. I can walk in and just roll my eyes and be like, click, 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 click,
Right.
I'm done. Or I can walk in and show everybody why I don't need to take this and why I'm the best at what I do and why all of those things, right? And still blow the thing out of the water. But I can go in and sort of, for lack of a better term, prove why I am good at what I do. Right. And I think that's, that's a good attitude to take as well. I think you can straddle the line of, being cocky or whatever, but, being confident in yourself and what you do and then executing on it is never a bad thing.
Right. So that kind of leads into like the day of, right? So I had to go to Cookeville to do the full day seminar. There's a chip on my shoulder going into that where it's like, in a positive way, I'm going to show them why I don't need to be here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in there. I'm going to coach my little heart out. I'm going to do the best that I can to show them that, okay, Matt knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm not going to come in and be a jerk, and that's why I'm going to.
Absolutely not.
I'm not going to come in with an attitude that I don't need to be here. I'm going to walk in and show them why.
Exactly. And because the people that are running it, they are fantastic. They are really, really good at what they do. They're really patient. They're really compassionate, and they're really knowledgeable. So the people there are not trying to act like they're better than anyone. They'll say from the very beginning, my goal for you is to find something today to get better at and that you can take home. It's like, that's the same thing we tell to our athletes. It's like, yeah, I want to find something that you can get better at today and that you can take home. Good. And that's for people who've been doing this for 6 months. That's for people that have been doing it for 6 years. It's the same idea that we have going into coaching a class. So nothing but respect and love for everyone there and the coaches that are there. It's like, it's not my job to be rude or have a pouty face when we have, Summer who's been doing this for 6 months and she's just like, hey, I'm just happy to be here kind of thing. I want to be able to know, I don't know what I'm not good at. And so she's working her butt off. And so I want to work my butt off too, to be like, hey, here's what we do. Okay. And then get critiqued by your peers from there. So all that to say though, the first breakout group, I'm like, I'm gonna
let's roll.
I'm gonna be like Guy Majeros. I'm gonna go ahead and open up with a winning lift. I'm gonna go ahead and be like, hey, don't even worry about your second and third attempt. You're never going to reach what I can do. I'm gonna try that. And then the good thing is if I coach to that level and I'm still getting criticism, that's awesome. If I'm going at like my half effort, then they're just going to tell me what I already need to work on. But if I do everything I can, I'm at 99.9% of perfect coaching, they're going to be able to find that 0.1% and get me better. And I'm like, good. Yeah. So I went in there, I coached overhead squats, and I showed everyone that when I coach, I'm going to do my best. And then it was kind of like, okay, here we go. All right. Good. I still got it.
Yeah. So it's for some folks, it's going to be something new. It's going to be something that sharpens, and it's going to be something that takes, reduces the gap between what their actual ceiling is. And some of us, it's formalizing the things we kind of already know, right? It's putting a piece of paper to it, a stamp, and hey, CrossFit said you can do this.
and the thing is, like, when I talk about this, some people will assume it's like, well, Matt, you just talked about all your knowledge. And it's like, no, because we talked about at the beginning of this podcast, what great coaching is seeing and correcting, and then presence and attitude and having compassion. I'm going to show all that too. So it's not just like, I know everything about an overhead squat. It's like, hey man, let's try to work through this together. Let's figure out how to make you a little bit better. What's going on? And it's like, yes, because that's part of coaching. I think that's the more important part of coaching.
Yeah. You could know everything. And if your delivery sucks, you are not a good coach.
Exactly.
You're just a smart one.
I agree.
All right. Moving on to the game. What do we got? I took a quick look at it. I think we're going to build ourselves an open workout.
Yeah. So I love drafts. I think drafts are kind of fun. It puts a little challenge into our thinking cap. So we're going to try to find a weird way to draft your ideal open workout. Okay. We're going to start in categories here. As always, you'll go first, and we'll break it down into what is a good time domain that you want to look for. And then do we want to go for task-oriented, like, is this going to be an AMRAP? Is this going to be for time? Are we going to get creative with that? And then we're going to draft movements. And then once the movements are, you're like, yep, I got everything I want, I can maybe do one or two more after that, or you can do one or two after that.
You say, hey, I got my 3.
Yep, I'm good to go. And then we'll have a minute to kind of build it out. We'll talk about a workout and then say, hey, this is what I think is the perfect open workout. to test fitness on it.
All right. I like it. I like it. All right. So
Let me
what
get
do we
my
start?
notes. So let's go ahead and go time domain. We're going to go with Nate. You can pick. We'll go short, medium, or long. Those are your options for your time domain.
Medium.
All right. So then Nate's going medium. So I have an option of short or long. I think in the open, I like to see longer workouts because I think it creates more separation for the majority of it. And so now we can go into your type. So Nate, again, do you want to go for time, an AMRAP, EMOM, or something that I'm not even thinking of? Going with that.
Man, see, I could get creative with that. I'm saying AMRAP, medium AMRAP.
Okay, so we could get crazy here. If I'm thinking EMOM, you could do something like 3 movements and then a max rep at the end. We kind of saw that in a quarterfinal workout. We could do like an every 4 minutes something, or we could just go standard for time, which makes a chipper. A long chipper is kind of tough, but also kind of fun, but you're going to need some movements to make that work. And so I'm worried that if I go with a chipper, we're going to get really compounding here, where you're going to take a lot of movements that I want, which would make things pretty challenging for me. So we'll try an EMOM for me. Okay, so right now Nate's got a medium AMRAP. Nate, let's start going through movements, man. What do you want first out of all movements that we can do?
I'm gonna go ahead and take wall balls off the board.
Okay, I want a burpee box jump over.
That was not even anywhere in my realm of
Hey, I already know what I'm getting into. I'm ready to rock.
All right, I'm gonna take clean barbell movement.
And so that would
Any
take
style.
any style of clean.
Any
So
style.
cleans
It's
are
a
off the
clean,
board for
you
me
can call it
altogether.
Power, you can whatever, but it's a clean.
Okay, so
I would say you could do a clean and jerk because that's just like if you wanted to do that, but a straight just clean.
I could do a clean and jerk, is what you're saying.
Clean and jerk, if that, because that would be considered one movement. It's not, you're not. You know what I mean?
Give me. I'll take. What do I want in my open workout? I think I want I need to go ahead and grab a weightlifting movement since you've taken one. I need to make sure that another one doesn't get taken, so I'll be in a tough spot. We could get really crazy and do something like an overhead squat, but for the open, I don't know if that's something that everyone's excited to do. So then I'll go with the front squat.
I like it. I'm gonna take a machine. All the controversy around machines lately in the CrossFit realm. I'm gonna take a rower.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
You're building your favorite workout. You're not building the best.
I'm building the best that I can win.
Okay, so this is completely different. But the thing is,
it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be exactly what everyone else wants too. But I'm like, hey, this isn't going to define the fittest on earth. This is just going to define. Hey, what's the big
test?
Okay,
one part of a test.
Okay, so then we got I'm gonna call that. Let's get a gymnastics in there. I want a little bit of pulling, or this could get nasty. We'll go toes to bar on this. And now I'm starting to see where my workout's going to go.
Well, I've got medium time domain, and I have 3 movements. So I'm stopping.
So you're feeling like your team is full.
I think my team is full.
Okay.
And I'm not good at anything else. So.
Okay, that's what you're good at. Okay, then I think just to round out my EMOM, I want at least one more. Just to kind of give you some hints here, I think what we're going to end up doing is putting that front squat at the end. We're going to have the burpee box jump over. We're going to have a toes to bar. So then let's go with something either with the dumbbell. That gets a little crazy. Or we could get on the wall and do something like a wall walk. But I think with the burpee, that doesn't make sense. There's so many good movements out there, Nate. There's just so many. So I think we've got the hinge already. We've got the hip closer. I think then what I want, we don't have an upper body press the way I want. So let's go. I hope there's not a timer to this. I need one more movement though, Nate.
We got time.
Yeah, I think
we'll cut the.
Yeah. It's mine. It's my open workout. We're going to do a farmer hold walking lunge.
I like the walking lunge. I actually thought about a lunge.
Yeah.
I just suck at them.
Yeah.
But I remember the year we had the overhead, the barbell overhead lunge, and then we had another one with the dumbbells, the front rack dumbbells. And both those I remember being very, very difficult and challenging workouts. I liked those.
All right.
That's a good choice. Are you
So
stopping
I'm
there?
going to stop there, and then we can put a timer on the clock somewhere, maybe just down below. Let's set it up for 2 minutes.
Okay.
We have 2 minutes to build our workout. You haven't been building yours out at all, I'm sure.
Nope,
Okay.
not at all.
So on 3, 2, 1, 2 minutes. I don't love it. Oh, we're at 2 minutes. Dang it. Okay. Oh no, I still don't have it. Okay, you go for it.
Yeah. How about I go, and then if you've got, you can make tweaks as you go. All right.
All right, what's your workout, Nate?
So I'm going on the high end of medium. I don't think this is getting into long. You're a better programmer, but I'm going to say a 14-minute AMRAP. Do you think that's long or medium? I think that's medium. I think 13 minutes. I could drop it to 13 at the most, but that's medium to me.
It depends on the workout. Let's talk about
For the open, like 20 minutes is long.
There's not that many 20-minute workouts though.
Well, you might know better than me.
There are some for sure.
All right,
but
I'll make it 12. That's medium.
12
is
medium.
It's a 12-minute AMRAP. Okay. You have 3 transitions, so you got to move. So you can't put too big of rep schemes on any one of them. But I want it to
Okay.
kind of hurt.
We have transition workout.
20 wall balls is what we're opening with.
Okay.
I thought about opening with the row, but I like the wall balls because you even tired, you can kind of run over and grab. Then 15 cal row and 5 cleans at 155, 105. That's just a who wants to hurt the most type workout for 12 minutes.
Sure.
Pulling movements back to back, right? And then so your arms are all jacked up, and then you got to go throw wall balls.
Yeah, I think if I look at this workout, it's immediately going to be a grip issue. I think because you're going to be pulling and you're going to have to make the call of do you touch and go to power cleans or not. I think at 12 minutes, I'm still going to do singles on the power cleans and just make sure I can hit wall balls unbroken. And then so from there, I like how this just turned into how I'm going to, talk to my athletes. From there, are we 15 cals for guys and girls?
15, 12.
So that's unique. Usually we don't get the girls to have usually they have to do the same, right? So that helps. But either way, this becomes the separator is going to be someone's row capacity on this. So if you're a smaller athlete, this is going to be a challenge where you're going to have to make sure that you're holding a strong row and then pray that your fitness can kind of carry the rest of the way.
Yeah.
If you're a bigger athlete, you're just making sure that you're not blowing up on the rower, you're not doing anything, you're not moving too fast on the cleans or the wall balls to allow yourself to be successful on that row. So yeah, I mean, it's good.
Yeah, it's exactly where I was at with it, right? It was like I wanted to put something in there that makes or breaks the workout, and it's a movement. Like most, if you're hitting your wall balls unbroken, if you go quick singles on the cleans, the only place you can make up time is the rower.
And your transitions, right? Being able to pick it up.
With a 12-minute workout too, what strategy going in? Do you start out hot on the row, try to bank some time, and then settle into a strong pull knowing it's going to hurt at the end?
Well, I think when you're looking at it too, you can go ahead and do the math on it. You're looking at just under 2 minutes a round. For most people, budgeting 6 sets would be like you're like, I'm pretty happy with my score. I think if you're on the top level, you're going to be into 8 or maybe even faster than that, just because 20 wall balls is 40 seconds, 15 cals, you're looking at another 40. So now you're at 120, 5 cleans, you're going to be at like 135, 140 around, trying to hold that. So that gets nastier, but I think for me, I'd be really happy with 6.
Yeah, smooth transition.
This looks really good in class too, at least for our gym setup. We would have obviously the wall balls, we're going to be up against the wall. We can actually put the rowers underneath the rig, and that gives us space to put cleans out there. So it flows well if we're hosting like a Friday Night Lights or a Saturday SmackDown. This works really well. We can put 8 to 9 out there, and we're going to be okay. Maybe our transitions are a little bit longer than just if you're doing it by yourself. Sure. But from a flow of running Saturday SmackDown, I think this workout works really, really good.
Cool. That was the Nate Dodd special.
So that is...
I'm going to do this afternoon.
So that's our show. We're not even going to worry about mine. So
follow me for programming.
Yeah. So
you're going to be doing all power movements.
So I kind of put myself... I shouldn't have done an EMOM, I think, at the end of the day, because I'm trying to get a little too creative here. But what I have right now in concept, I have 2 different ways. We could just do a buy-in each piece, then you build into a 3 to 5 rep max front squat, but we're going to do that multiple times through. So the weight you choose can be more and more and more. You'll keep adding those weights, and your pounds are your reps, right? So if I did 315 pounds for a triple, that's going to be 315 reps added to my total score. So you're going to get benefit from there, but you could miss a rep or not go too light, you kind of have to,
You got to game it a little.
you got to game it a little bit more, right? Or hey, I'm gonna try to hit 225 all the way across, or maybe now I can do 230, 240. So I wanted something like that with some heart rate before. The problem with the EMOM that I have is that if we do something like minute 1, 10 burpee box jump overs, minute 2, 12 toes to the bar, minute 3, 100-foot walking lunge, and then minute 4 is your lift, you may get some people that don't even get to the lift because they can't do 10 burpee box jump overs in a minute. So I didn't love that. So I try to switch it real fast, and that's a problem in 2 minutes, where minutes 1 and 2 are an AMRAP of 6 burpee box jump overs and 12 toes to the bar. So you get as many reps as you can going back and forth on that. Then minutes 3 and 4, you have a 50-foot walking lunge buy-in, which is stupid in a workout when we're trying to do it in a class, because now we have to have a bar as well. This doesn't work well. Let's just put it this way.
If you're counting your reps or your weight as a score, couldn't you do that with each round with a cap on reps?
Exactly. So that's where I was trying to get to. But it's like, what's the fairness of it? But
burpee box jump overs. But if you only get 8, your score is 8.
Right. But then it's still just so heavily skewed towards the lift that none of it really matters except your ability to lift.
Because you could just kind of like dog the other one.
Right.
Just
I don't have it.
If you're a lifter, go hit 345.
Right. So it could just be the way you end up going to is like put a front squat weight on there. And maybe that's something that we can maybe add each time. But it's like, hey, max reps in 45 seconds of everything. That's where I had it too. It's like, hey, max rep in 45 seconds, burpee box jump overs, max toes to bar or max lunge. And you have max front squats, but it's almost like a fight gone bad, right? And you have a rest minute after that.
Yeah, exactly. So, where the reps are your score.
Right. It's there. So just trying to find the right balance of what's the right weight that everyone can play on and then go from there. So I don't love it. Give me another week. Maybe we'll have something there. Right now, I'd say
it's not looking so bad now, is it?
It's looking pretty good. So thanks for playing, guys. Tell me what you want your ideal workout to be, and you try to think about a workout in 2 minutes and see what you got.
Yeah, send us a workout. You never know. It might show up in the next cycle. All right, that's it for today. As always, we'll see you guys in the gym. Show up, work hard, be kind. We'll see you in the gym.
Bye, guys.